Hello, good morning. Welcome to our Careers Now mentorship session. I am Nicole Gallace and I'm joined here today by Gwynne Sitsker. Gwen, your passion and commitment to food safety and quality is infectious, and I'm thrilled to have you here today to talk about artificial intelligence in the food and beverage processing space. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we have a wonderful presentation to get through, so I'm going to pass things over to you. And thank you again for joining us.
Amazing. Thank you, Nicole. So my name is Gwynne Sitsker. I'm the Director of Food Safety and Quality at Embassy Ingredients. So if you guys don't know who we are an ingredient manufacturer. We make customized bakery ingredients like cake mixes, bread mixes. And what's really cool is we also make food flavors and colors. So we can make our bakery mixes very customized. And on top of that, what I love a lot about Embassy is we are a very technology driven and a technology forward company. So AI is something we are looking into. I am passionate about AI. I am fascinated by it. So I was thinking today what we can do is talk a little bit about from farm to fork. What are some current AI uses in the food industry? Where is it popping up? And what is this all about? Because this is a whole new world, everybody. Cool. So I'm going to have some videos throughout this presentation. If the sound goes down a little bit, just please boost up your volume and we should be good to go. So getting started, where do we even start? I think with AI in the food industry, AI in any industry, it is happening lightning fast and there is so much happening right now. So I wanted to start off with a really cool video that really goes over what is happening, how is AI really transforming the food industry. And of course, we do have ads, so soon we'll have the AI to take out some ads perhaps, but we'll skip those for now.
You may have noticed a new brand in the milk alternative section at your local grocery store. Not Milk is a new product by NotCo, a startup that makes plant-based meat and dairy substitutes. The New York headquartered company is on a mission to transform the food industry with emerging technology. So what makes this milk substitute so special? Well, for start, it actually tastes like milk, like real milk, not almond milk, soy milk, or oat milk. I'm talking creamy, thick, frothy milk. This is despite the fact that it's made from plants. Not Milk consists of cabbage, pea protein, and pineapple. So how did they get a bunch of vegetables to taste like milk? The recipe was developed by artificial intelligence, meaning that they've trained a machine learning model to understand food, both in terms of its molecular makeup as well as its flavor profile. I spoke with NotCo's CEO and founder, Matthias Mushnick, to learn more.
When we went back to kind of like the origins of food, we discovered that the food R&D was one of the biggest problems in it, right? The food R&D has been operated for the last 50 years exactly the same way, with the same science, with the same technology, right? It's basically three guys in a lab coding an experimental and reading research papers of 1980s on how to apply soy to replace animal-based ingredients. So that was it. You cannot expect to have an amazing food landscape or a very promising future of food if you're operating with a very obsolete technology. So our approach as NotCo was, okay, let's create a technology to elevate what we can do with food. We have no idea what we can do. We designed an algorithm that is allowing us to predict which combination of plant-based ingredients should result in the same sensorial experience and physical chemical components and molecular attributes than an animal-based target.
While AI is being leveraged in the food industry for a variety of things, it's made the most impact in terms of automation and improving supply chains. This is mostly because AI can't taste food in the same way a human can, but the NotCo team found a way to train AI with human feedback.
We have 15 different chefs all over the world that will interact with the platform, take it to the kitchen, prototype everything that is coming out of the algorithm. Good recipes, bad recipes, doesn't matter. We have a trained panel that feedbacks the algorithm with different complexities of flavor.
According to Statistica, the plant-based food market is projected to reach $77.8 billion US by 2025, which may explain why NotCo was just evaluated at $1.5 billion after raising a 9-figure Series C in the summer of 2021, making them a unicorn startup with investors like Jeff Bezos. What's more is that the startup just announced a joint venture with Kraft Heinz, where they'll leverage the distribution and buying power of the fifth largest food and beverage company in the world. NotCo isn't the only company exploring the possibilities of AI in the kitchen. According to a concept video from Sony, the Japanese multinational conglomerate is also working on an AI-enabled application that helps chefs explore gastronomical data points. In their vision, in the future, a menu or dish could be developed based on abstract inputs like music preference. IBM is also working in collaboration with McCormick and Company to analyze taste data and create new flavor combinations. But so far, NotCo is a leader in the market in that they're not just experimenting with AI. Their products are already on store shelves. Their milk alternatives are already sold in Canada and the US, and according to Mateus, they'll be launching other categories, including not chicken and not beef, later this year. In addition to opening up a whole new world of culinary possibilities, AI-generated recipes also have the potential to impact the planet in a positive way. Current global food production, which is based on animal farming, uses up to 1/3 of the Earth's surface and emits more CO2 than all of the world's transportation combined. It's led by inefficient and abusive standards, not to mention the careless usage of water, land, and energy. It is the main cause of deforestation and a leading cause of greenhouse gases like methane. So not milk is better for the planet, but is it better for me? I'm not a nutritionist, so I asked someone who is.
I think that I would say overall, not milk is a marginally better option if you are looking to sort of avoid inflammation and improve gut health. The big improvement I would say is the protein content. Pea protein is really clean protein.
So it's good for me and it's good for the planet. What's the catch? This is the part of the segment where you expect me to tell you the price, and because it's a product that's both healthy and green, you assume it's going to cost you a pretty penny. But actually, NotCo's products are cost comparative. Compared to other popular milk alternatives like Khalifa, Silk, and Earth's Own, Not Milk was actually cheaper. And compared to organic milk, Not Milk came in dollars cheaper compared to exactly the same thing, regular whole milk. And that got me thinking, why is it that when a more environmentally friendly or healthier alternative comes along, we expect it to cost more? That's probably because we live in a world where the costs of shopping with our values are passed on to the consumer. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if AI technology can help us hack our way to a future where we can make healthier, more sustainable choices while providing nourishment for our growing population, all without the poor treatment of animals and the planet? Now that's innovation I can drink to. For Technality, I'm Amanda Costco.
All right, cool. Just gonna move over to the next slide. My computer is a little slow. Okay, there we go. So very cool. And as you can see with just that introduction to this new product, look at the potential that AI has to create new products, things we've never seen before using science to help the environment and to actually make cost of food cheaper for us when all we're seeing these days are prices going up and up and up. So what is AI and what is it exactly? Because it's pretty complicated and you start to see all these different definitions and you can really get lost in the definitions. So I'm going to try my best to explain AI to everybody. We are not going to dive deep. I don't think we have time for that. I think we could probably do a whole 1-hour webinar on each one of these topics. But AI, so artificial intelligence, is really how do we take machines and make them intelligent? So mimic human-like thinking, learning, and problem solving. So that's right in the middle there. That is AI. So then AI starts to get broken down into different categories. So everybody here has probably heard about ChatGPT, the different chatbots coming out. That's a really great example of machine learning. So what machine learning does is it takes a lot of data. So everything is data driven. And it really takes the data and uses specialized algorithms and computers to really allow the computer to learn from the data and start to learn over time and use that data in a way we've never really seen before. Then we start to get a little more complicated, and I'll jump over to that one called neural networks. So think of our brains and think of neurons in our brains. So we have neurons throughout our brains that are firing off information, and that is how we are creating. That's how we're thinking. That is where our intelligence is coming from. So think of a a neural network as mini computers sort of inside your brain that all sort of work together to find patterns in the data. They're all connected in nodes and they start to mimic the human brain. So now we have one computer, but now we have lots of computers becoming a brain. That translates into deep learning. So when these computers start to work together and start to learn together and start to take different inputs, like what the computer is seeing, the language the computer is hearing, what's happening around it, that's called deep learning. So these neural networks start to work together to analyze many layers of complex data patterns. And it really allows that computer to now learn from those data patterns, really starting to mimic how the human brain works. Now we get even more complex. So now computers and psychologists and brain neurologists come together and we start to mimic actual cognitive thinking. So cognitive computers. Cognitive computing, it's a type of advanced computer system that really tries to think like a human. So it's going to help people make decisions by analyzing a lot of data. So throughout that neural network coming together, finding patterns, trying to understand the context, and really trying to behave like a human would. So these things use different aspects of technology. So for example, computer vision, allowing a computer to see. So how can a computer see? Well, there are cameras. So look at Tesla and the auto drive in Tesla. It uses cameras to see what's around you, and it gives that technology vision that it can then use machine learning, use that neural network it's created to really act and respond. And similar to that, you have natural language processing, which really is using human language. So audio, sound, what's being recorded. You guys hear me talking now. The computer will take that, translate it to text. So you've seen a lot of voice to text. It'll similar to do that. And then it has data it can feed the computer throughout these neural networks to then become intelligent and mimic human intelligence. So very cool, very detailed. Like I say, I'm not going to go any further because we could probably do a whole discussion on this, but that's, I would say, the basics. So where do I want to focus in today? Because we see so much about AI in the food industry, but where is it actually being used and where is it actually being harnessed? And what are some companies starting to do? So we're going to talk a little bit about smart production, supply chain, food safety, compliance, even health and safety in those aspects, quality control, testing, product development, and customer excellence. So I really want to show you guys some really cool things that are happening in the industry right now. So let's start with smart production, and I work in a manufacturing facility. So we are producing a lot of the time, a lot of human element. Think about farming, think about application of pesticides. You're applying pesticides to the whole screen, whole field. Can we target it? So really where we're starting to see some awesome benefits in the food industry is through computer vision harvesting and different see and spray technologies that are out there. We're also starting to see things like predictive maintenance. So imagine we're feeding all of our manufacturing data into a computer. It can read all the data, it can read the past history, and then it can predict what is going to happen. When is my mixer going to break down next? When does it think it's going to break down? Because if my mixer breaks down, I can't produce anymore and our company is shut down. So can we actually use a preventative maintenance program and make a predictive maintenance program? That's pretty cool. And can we automate processing and packaging? Can we make it do it for us so it's perfect? Can we take that human error and element out of it? So some tools starting to be used is Blue River Technology Start Spraying. We're going to see a little bit of a demo about that. That's really, in my opinion, next level on the farm technology. Very cool. Also some other tools happening, Motorleaf's greenhouse automation and FarmWise's robotic automation. And robotic farming is going on right now. So some companies really taking this to the next level. But let's check this out. Let's check out this see and spray.
we're seeing lots of resistance to Roundup. We're looking for other ways to combat the weeds and still have cost savings on top of everything.
We saw an opportunity to take cameras, computers, and artificial intelligence to allow ag machines to see every plant in a field. We thought that we could give farmers the ultimate flexible tool to treat their field and manage their field in whatever way they wanted by having the knowledge of every plant and its situation and an ability to spray very precisely, whether it be herbicide only to the weeds or fertilizer or fungicide directly on each plant that needed it.
Each field they go to has a different set of conditions, and they need to be able to adjust and correctly set that machine's performance for the field. One knob could be the protection of the cotton plant and how big of a buffer, the safe zone that we provide the plant so that we apply selective materials or non-selective materials that we have the appropriate buffer. Another dial is how aggressive do you want to be at going after anything that looks like a weed. There's also some opportunities to inform the grower of how many weeds the system's seeing, even what kinds of weeds exist in the field, that they can start to tailor their herbicide programs towards those weeds.
The cameras and computers on a See and Spray machine are using deep learning algorithms that are similar to what's used in facial recognition. The first time we saw a pigweed, the machine didn't know what kind of plant it was, but we taught it by giving it tens of thousands of examples of that pigweed, and now it's an expert in pigweed. We save up to 90% of the amount of herbicide that you would spray if you were spraying the entire field.
The weeds have become a little bit more of a pest than what they were originally. They've become resistant to a lot of herbicide that we've been using on them.
With the rig, we have other options open to us. We can spray different chemicals that we're not able to spray before. We can take one man and put him on a tractor, and we can do the work of 8 to 10 people.
We're seeing no end to the use of this technology. Essentially, anything that may be cost prohibitive or more difficult to do when you're spraying on a broadcast basis, but much more grower beneficial if we're spraying on a very precise basis.
Okay, so very, very cool. And, you know, here at Embassy, one thing we're starting to do a lot more is automated packaging. So we now have a robot on the floor. It does not look like one of those Elon Musk robots. It is just a big robotic arm, but it will actually read codes and it will package things properly for us. And it has saved a lot of manpower in the terms of having to manually lift. We still have operators that have to run the robot, but, you know, from a health and safety point of view, a huge win because less strain, less wear and tear for humans because that robot's just a piece of machine, can do it for us. So let's move on because there's so much happening in the food industry and in this. Let's talk a little bit about quality control lab testing, which is something I love because I run 2 labs. So we're starting to see things like visual inspection systems. So we're going to watch a really cool short video in a moment that really is a great example of machine learning combined with machine vision and combined with robotics. So really a defect detection system. So a lot of the time with quality, you know, we get the sample, we go and we test the sample. Can it be tested directly on the floor? So when our technicians go out, they have input and that they have data that maybe is a little more clear than they could see. Maybe we're seeing things more on a microscopic level that we couldn't tell. So very cool. This also comes down to things like grading and sorting, predictive microbial testing, real life product testing. We were just talking about that a little bit, and ingredient quality assessment. So how many people that work in the industry, and I know we're talking to a lot of students today, but in the industry, it's sometimes hard to manage all of the incoming raw materials to test them all. Can we have AI helping with some of that? Can that help? Because here at Embassy, we have 800 ingredients. That's hard to test. Can AI help us with that? So those are things we're starting to explore now, which are really, really cool. And we are a flavor company, so flavor and sensory analysis. We have a mass spec, GC mass spec. What if that was in a robot? That would be really, really cool. And that was on the line. And, you know, we got that information sooner. So I want to show you this really cool little video to show you how this could work. And what is really neat about this is something that was built. This shows it's not something you've gone out that was patented. A lot of these technologies can be custom created for the companies that are requiring them. I love it. This cookie, so happy. That was a rejected cookie. It's getting rejected in that red box. Success! The cookie passes! All right, it goes into the good cookie box. It's a good cookie. All right. So you guys get the point. Look at that. How can we have those eyes on the line helping our manufacturing processes? And, you know, I start to think another step quicker. We have a metal detector. Well, what if that is part of it? What if the metal detector is also looking at every other chemical composition of that cookie, every other aspect of that cookie, physical parameters, and feeding that data back to me? Data is power. AI robots are only powerful with the data we feed them and how we can control them. They're not good by themselves, but with humans, they're incredible. So we'll keep going because we have a few more things that are really cool we'll talk about. So supply chain, and we see a lot of this, you know, blockchain, supply chain. How is AI going to really help us throughout the world internationally when right now most companies are getting international ingredients? We're not using local ingredients unless we're a fancy little organic bakery or a local bakery, but a lot of the time we are bringing in ingredients everywhere. Not only that, we want to make sure that we can supply the demand that's out there. So demand forecasting, inventory optimization, route planning, all things that are incredibly important to making sure supply and demand is there. So I can make such a cool product here at Embassy. We have the best cake mix in the world, but if I can't get it out to the world, it's not going to be out there. It's not going to be the best in the world because it won't exist. So how is AI really helping us with this? And we see things like the Blue Yonder platform, Symphony Retail AI, and O9 Solutions. But what we're going to watch right now is a little case study, and it's about Coca-Cola and how they make sure they get Coca-Cola out to everybody in the whole world as far as they can reach, and how they're using AI to really optimize their demand.
Imagine this scenario. You walk into your favorite grocery store on a scorching summer day, craving an ice-cold Coca-Cola to quench your thirst. But to your dismay, the shelf that once held rows of your favorite beverage is empty. Frustration sets in, and your wonderful product is not readily available. This situation raises a question. How can Coca-Cola ensure its products are consistently available at the right time and place to meet customer demand? The answer lies in the strategic implementation of artificial intelligence, AI for demand forecasting and inventory optimization. The challenge: meeting consumer demand for a globally recognized brand like Coca-Cola is no small feat. With a diverse range of products and an extensive distribution network, accurately forecasting demand and managing inventory can be complex and challenging. Inaccurate demand forecasts can lead to stockouts, dissatisfied customers, and missed sales opportunities. On the other hand, overstocking can result in wastage, increased costs, and inefficient use of resources. The solution: recognizing the importance of precise demand forecasting and inventory optimization, Coca-Cola has turned to AI technology to address these challenges. By harnessing the power of data and advanced algorithms, Coca-Cola has revolutionized its supply chain management, ensuring products are available at the right time and place. AI-driven demand forecasting. Coca-Cola's demand forecasting process has undergone a remarkable transformation with the integration of AI. By analyzing historical sales data, market trends, weather patterns, social media sentiment, and numerous other variables, AI algorithms can identify patterns and predict future demand with a high degree of accuracy. The ability to adapt to changing customer preferences and market dynamics is critical for Coca-Cola's success. AI enables the company to capture these subtle shifts and make informed decisions regarding production and distribution. Real-time data integration. To enable seamless demand forecasting, Coca-Cola has established a robust data infrastructure that integrates real-time data from various sources. Point-of-sale data from retailers, social media mentions, weather updates, and even footfall in stores are collected and processed in real time. This data is then fed into AI models, providing decision makers with actionable insights to optimize inventory levels and respond swiftly to changing market conditions. Optimizing inventory levels. Coca-Cola has also employed AI to optimize its inventory levels across its vast network of manufacturing plants, warehouses, and distribution centers. By combining demand forecasts, production capabilities, transportation logistics, and historical consumption patterns, the AI system determines the optimal quantity and placement of products at each location. This minimizes the risk of stockouts and excess inventory, resulting in improved operational efficiency and reduced costs. Dynamic replenishment strategies. Traditionally, replenishment decisions were often based on static rules and predefined schedules. However, Coca-Cola has embraced dynamic replenishment strategies driven by AI. These strategies continuously evaluate real-time demand signals, inventory levels, and production capabilities to determine the optimal timing and quantity for replenishment. By leveraging AI algorithms, Coca-Cola can proactively adjust its replenishment plans, ensuring products are replenished precisely when and where they are needed. Collaborative ecosystem. Coca-Cola's success in AI-driven demand forecasting and inventory optimization is not solely due to technology, but also to the collaborative ecosystem it has fostered. The company actively engages with its retailers, distributors, and suppliers, encouraging them to share their data and insights. By integrating this collective intelligence, Coca-Cola gains a holistic view of the supply chain, further enhancing the accuracy of demand forecasts and inventory optimization. Conclusion. In an era of rapidly changing consumer preferences and intensifying competition, Coca-Cola has embraced AI as a powerful tool to ensure its products are available at the right time and place. By leveraging AI-driven demand forecasting and inventory optimization, Coca-Cola has improved its supply chain efficiency, reduced costs, and enhanced customer satisfaction. The strategic integration of data, advanced algorithms, and collaborative partnerships has positioned Coca-Cola as a leader in leveraging AI for successful business outcomes. So the next time you walk into a store, thirsty for a refreshing Coca-Cola, rest assured that AI is working tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure your favorite beverage is readily available, satisfying your cravings and leaving you with a smile.
Okay, awesome. So let's move on to an area that I am super passionate about, and that is food safety and compliance. So where are we starting to see AI happening and popping its head around this topic? So we're starting to see things like contamination detection, temperature monitoring, hygiene compliance, things like automated label verification, things like SOP creation, regulatory review assessments, and writing compliance letters and documents. So some really cool things we're doing at Embassy Ingredients around these areas are things like regulatory review and assessment. So very, very fun fact. A couple months ago, our president came and said, hey, Gwynne, we're going to start to sell products throughout Asia, in Taiwan, Singapore, and he gave me a whole list of countries that our one new product is now going to be sold to. So I thought, okay, cool. This is new. We're going to do a regulatory assessment. We'll go onto those company websites. We'll look up the regulation. I know how to do it. I know how regulation works. My regulatory team knows how it works. So I set off my regulatory team on this assignment and I said, okay, let's see. Give me the regulatory full breakdown. I want to know what we have to do. Are we compliant? Are we going to be able to sell in these countries? So at the same time, I thought, I know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to do the research. They're going to go on every single website. They're going to pull out that regulatory law. They're going to pull out that exact clause, and they're going to prove to me that it's safe to sell. That's my expectation. Exactly what I want them to do. And I thought, I wonder how long it'll take them. So I figured a couple days it'll probably take them. That's average. And it did. Took them about 3 days to do. And at the same time, in a very sneaky way, I worked in the background to say, what would AI do? So I went on ChatGPT, we have 4.0, and I started asking it questions. Within 2 hours, I had a full regulatory assessment. Now, I'm not going to believe it. I don't know if that is true or not. And I have a legal department to run. It has to be compliant. So what I did is I fact checked. I took what it told me and I fact checked. And then I said, oh, it said to go to this website and look at that. Yeah, that is the website. Yeah, that is right. And I went through it and I checked it. And then I compared the work to the regulatory specialist. By the way, it only took me 2 hours to do this whole task. When we did a side-by-side comparison of our work, it was identical. So we saved so much time, and it was a great place to start. It made me laugh that I could do it that quickly. It blew my mind away. Another thing that you're starting to see is SOP creation. So I have a very small video, and then I want to talk about this a little bit more because SOPs, procedures, standard operating procedures, anyone starting in the food industry, this is going to be a big part of your career. And a lot of the time we have to write them. They don't sound great. They don't have great language. They don't have great flow. And this is our training instructions. And then people don't understand them. SOPs fall through, processes fall through. So check this out. What can AI do for us? Magic. All right, cool. So no videos, but as you can see, in 3 steps, you have an SOP. So very fun project that we are working on here at Embassy Ingredients using AI, because I manage all of our SOPs, and training is so important in SOPs. So we have been implementing and really taking our training program to the next level. We're actually gamifying our training program. So we're implementing games, making it really fun, making it very interactive, learning based. And with this new training arcade and training academy that we've invested in, it comes with this SOP micro builder that you seriously just type in the topic and it will give you an SOP. So I can say BRC compliant foreign material contamination SOP, and boom, you have it there. The first time I saw it, I was like, no way. And I laughed. And I actually went home on a Saturday morning because we got access on Friday, and it's Saturday morning and I can't stop thinking about work and I can't stop thinking about SOPs and AI. And I started playing around with it, and it blew my mind away how fast it makes it. Now, is it going to make an exact SOP for your facility? Well, no, not unless you feed it all the data for your facility. But what it's going to give for you is a really great starting point, really like basic facts of what should be in there. And what I love, simple language that everyone can understand it uses a lot of the time, and then a great flow. So it's going to really say, how should I present this SOP to everybody? So when they read through it, it makes sense. It has a flow from start to end, and the operator is getting as much information they need to know what is the compliance, what is my process, and what are the steps I have to follow to make this process successful. So whereas an SOP, even me, who English is my first language, I am very technical at writing. I can write an SOP, but what I found is writing it through these AI bots, it's so much faster, and it's such a simple language that everyone can understand. And, even for me, that's something I struggle with sometimes because, like I say, I'm a chemist and I do technical writing. So how do you really communicate? AI changes that. You can even put in some of these, write the SOP targeted to someone who English, it's not their first language. So very, very cool. And we're starting to explore a lot within our food safety and regulatory team with AI right now, which is so fun. I'm really enjoying it. All right. So moving on, the customer experience. So really, why do we make products to sell? Why is there a food industry? Because people have to eat, and it is all about the customer and what we give them. A lot of the time, we're not making food just because we're making it and we think it's cool. We're making it because our customer wants something and they want an end product. So how can we take the data of what they want and start to think about what they might like? Taking all that data, really changing it, making a personalized engine. So very cool. So smart ordering system. So this is something that McDonald's is doing. They have a multi-million-dollar data AI investment called Data Yield. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that, but this is them using AI to really make their customers happy and give the customers what they want. You also see other applications like Spoon Guru, and some also smart salad bars, which are really cool that are coming out there. And smart salad bar, if it can detect food safety and it can watch the food to make sure it's not contaminated, we might all start thinking a little differently about salad bars, which is pretty cool. So I have a small case study about McDonald's dynamic yield, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to play that.
But when we reflect on the last 4 years, our owner-operators, our development licensees, and the corporation, we've all invested into the necessary technology to make the overall customer experience more relevant, easier, more enjoyable, with the ultimate aim for a much more personalized experience. Let me get onto websites like Amazon or Best Buy or Walmart.com. As you place your cursor over an item and click and it enters your shopping basket, it automatically suggests other items that are associated with that. For technology can work with the intelligent menu boards we have, we went through a very thorough, diligent process before we selected dynamic yield as the opportunity we knew was right for our business. And when you serve 68 million customers every single day, our ability to learn of their behaviors and play that back through this technology is unbeatable. It gives us a huge competitive advantage. We know this technology has the capability and the flexibility to work on all of our digital platforms. We can integrate into the global mobile app. We can integrate into our self-order kiosks. And therefore we can start to link this entire technology infrastructure together. It will know time of day. It can know the weather. We can also have it understand what our current service times are so that it only suggests items that are easier to make during our peak hours so the drive-through runs smoother. It truly is a win, win, win.
Very cool. Okay, so moving on to our very last topic, we'll talk about today with our AI map of our applications. So really this is product development. So a lot of the time, if you're working in the food industry and R&D, you're making formulas. You're making one formula, and then the customer will come to you and say, no, I want it to be like this. And you'll have to know how to translate that and kind of make some magic happen to say, okay, well, if I change my formula this way, it's going to get what you want. Now, imagine you had a system where you could input what the customer wants and it changes the formula for you. Again, based on science, think about NotCo. And we're going to talk a little bit more about NotCo here because I'm fascinated by them. But they have this program called Giuseppe Synthesis that really takes messy research data and puts it together in an applicable way, which is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So we're starting to explore it at Embassy a little bit about these technologies. But I have a little bit of a short here that goes over, again, some of what NotCo is doing, but really this Giuseppe Synthesis program and what they're doing with AI.
A food tech startup is using an AI system to create plant-based recipes for products such as milk and burgers. Now, before you get too excited, let me clarify that this AI is not some kind of magical plant whisperer that can make your veggies taste like bacon, but rather it's a tool used by a team of chefs, food scientists, and sensory experts to develop these recipes through a process of generating and prototyping, developing a functional and scalable recipe, and finding flavor additives. So what's the big deal? Well, NotCo's plant-based products use less energy and water to produce, and they generate less CO2 than regular animal-based products. And who knows, maybe they'll even taste good. I mean, they've got it better than those old vegan hot dogs that taste like sneakers. But seriously, I do think it's important to consider the environmental impact of our food choice, and plant-based alternatives can be a part of that. So if you're feeling adventurous, give it a try. Don't blame me if your plant-based milk tastes like grass clippings.
All right, cool. So Giuseppe Synthesis, research it. It is very, very cool. There's also some other really cool product development AI coming out. Gastrograph AI and Flavor Wiki. Now, Google Flavor Wiki, check that out because you can actually, I think, get paid for it to do it. I haven't researched it. I don't use it. But as I was looking at it, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then it's really building a flavor database out there. So many really cool applications that are already starting to hit our industry, already starting to hit food. So where is the future of food? Where is this all taking us? So a lot of the time we're seeing things like lab-grown meat optimization, alternative proteins, really personalized nutrition and functional tools, smart packaging, automated kitchens, processing innovations, and blockchain technology. So I started thinking, where is food going to be? This is all moving so fast. What is this going to do? And where is food going to be based on AI? Where is this going to take us? So I thought, what better way of trying to figure out where we're going to be than let's ask the AI itself. So that's what they did. The future of food predicted by AI. Let's check it out.
What if your next meal could be tailored to fit not just your cravings, but your mood? In just 5 years, AI predictions suggest a culinary revolution where meals will be designed to evoke specific emotional responses. Imagine sitting down to an expertly crafted dish, its flavors harmoniously resonating with your feelings of joy or relaxation. Advanced technology will allow chefs to analyze your emotional data, creating a dining experience that is uniquely personal. Sustainability will also take center stage as lab-grown ingredients become the norm, reducing our carbon footprint. The future of food promises to be not only innovative and passionate, but also deeply connected to who we are and how we feel.
So I love that. My computer is detecting I'm sad today, so it's going to give me some chocolate. That's perfect. Thank you, AI. That is amazing. Okay, so we've talked about we talked about how AI is transforming the food industry. We've talked about what the food industry is currently doing with AI. We've talked about the future, but where do we get started? How on earth do we jump into this? It is so overwhelming. It is happening so fast. So I have 3 tips for everyone that I want to share, and this is what I would recommend and where you start if it's new for you. So number 1, start to use readily available chatbots. So a lot of people probably have heard ChatGPT. So it is a great program. Now, if you do work at a company, please make sure you're allowed to use these technologies. There are IT rules. We do use ChatGPT, but we only use the paid version for privacy reasons. So we have 4.0. Fantastic tool. I use this daily. It can do so many things. Other chatbots that are starting to come out, we're starting to see Claude 3.5 Sonnet. That is unreal. I'm finding it is a little better than ChatGPT, a little deeper with the data, which is cool. And then a new one that I just discovered like within the last 2 weeks is Poe.ai. Unreal. I plugged in a food safety GFSI expert through that, and it started to answer my questions, but not only answer my questions, give me references to those questions. So remember how I said I had to reference before? Now the AI is giving me those references for me and fact checking for me. Thank you, Poe.ai. Only problem is I only get limited searches per day, so that's fair. And then Microsoft and their Copilot, really, really cool. So use chatbots as a starting point, but do not plagiarize and do not take all of the information from them. Remember, it's a robot. It is dependent on the data. If you need a letter, if you need to send a customer letter out or send an email out and you just throw it through ChatGPT, people will know you're just throwing it through ChatGPT and they will know it's not authentic and you're not a human anymore and you're not doing the work. This is not used to create essays for school. This is not used to create research science documents. That is not right. This is used as a support system. And that's how I see this technology. So use it to start, but remember, fact check your work and give your work the human element. You can use ChatGPT to write an email, but edit a little bit. If you don't like what it wrote, tell it to write it a different way. Talk to the robot. That's how these things work. So next step, once you're comfortable with these chatbots, use them. And if you're not sure what to do, and if you're not sure how AI can help you, ask the chatbot. Ask AI how AI will help you. It's unreal the number of ideas that it comes up with just in itself and the thought process that it has. But number 3, make sure you brainstorm solutions. So the robot, the AI will not necessarily give you a creative solution. We are humans, and one of the most amazing things about us is our ability to create. I think that drives us a lot, and that's one of our main purposes of being on this planet. So brainstorm the creative solutions, use Google, and then use AI as a support system, as your virtual assistant. So that's it. I will open things up for questions.
That is one of those presentations where you almost need a minute just to digest it all, because there is so much, like you said, so much information, so much to take in. My brain is literally like, even as you're speaking of ways I can use it in my world with the sort of staffing and recruiting side of things. But one of the things that struck me is that we suffer as an industry, food and beverage processing. It's essentially why I started FoodGrads. It's not a sexy industry. It's not one that people think about when they're at school. Like, I want to work in food and beverage processing. You know, that's really not what a lot of young people are thinking. And I really think that this could make the industry more exciting. You know, what would be your response to that? And thank you for joining us, Dyson. I know that you have such a great interest in this stuff too. Dyson is our, he's always behind the scenes on our mentorship sessions, and we wanted him to join today because this is his world too with technology and AI. So yeah, what do you think specifically, Gwynne and Dyson, around how much more exciting it can make the food industry as a place to work?
Yeah, I definitely think exciting. It's very technology. I think you need to like technology for this to excite you. So one of the exciting things is food is now merging with technology, so embracing it. What I find is really, really fun is things like the training program and the gamification. So really what it's doing is it's using games and AI within the games to train people. It makes life easier. It's a tool that assists us. It supports us. So I think that in itself is really, really great. And a lot of the time, like when we come to work, you're right. We're working with an SOP. It's kind of boring. We just got to get that data down. And who's even going to read our SOP? But can we now make it engaging? Can we now tap into culture and behavior and food safety culture, doing something we might not have been able to do before? So, for example, I'm a chemist. I haven't studied IT. I haven't studied computers. I've researched a lot about it, but I'm not a psychologist either. But working in the food industry, food safety culture is so huge and important. And that's another thing I'm very passionate about. So can these programs help us understand human behavior and take that to the next level? So it helps us integrate and tap into areas we might not have had that knowledge before. And in my opinion, that makes us stronger and better, and we can harness more, which I find exciting personally. I'm not sure if everyone would, but I think that is really, really cool and exciting and powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it is so exciting because I find that with the advent of ChatGPT and AI, it really does help feed your curiosity while you're on the job. Personally, that's the most important part for me. And I mean, like to your point, you're so used to sending out like technical documents, right? And you're asking it, can you make this more digestible for someone who may not may have more of a layman understanding of this type of thing. And from my side, I mean, that's very courteous of you. From my side, I don't always get that opportunity where people are sending me stuff like that, and I'm often tasked with understanding the complex things that people send me. And one of the very cool things about something like ChatGPT is that you can use it as kind of a guiding source in telling you, like, here's how you can better understand this. Don't fully trust it. Don't 100% like put your faith in it. Always fact check it, all that kind of stuff. But you can go to ChatGPT, and someone like me has no business in knowing something like string theory or something crazy like that. But you can say, explain to me like I'm 5 years old. What is this? And it'll do a very good job of breaking down very complex ideas into easily understandable, digestible, and accessible concepts. And applying that on the job is something that can be useful for anybody, no matter what career path you're in, right?
Yeah, useful and efficient. And if we take us back to that example I gave of that regulatory assessment, I went from my team taking 3 days to work on an assessment to we did it in 2 hours, and it was accurate. Do you know the power that gave us? The power that gave our sales team to respond to our customer that much faster, the confidence that gave us, and just we now had time to do other things that we had to focus on. So that last minute urgent request that could have derailed us and put other tasks behind, wow, we plowed through that so fast. And it didn't do it for us. Like I say, we still had to fact check. We had to make sure it was right. But I was almost laughing while I was doing it because I'm like, this is ridiculous how easy this is now. Like, do I think anymore? And then that's the one concern I have. So again, make sure we don't lose our human element, combine it. That's my biggest tip.
Well, and I love the example that I can bring to the table. I'm not a marketer. I didn't go to school for marketing. I'm a recruiter. I'm in HR, and we had our That's a Food Job podcast rebrand recently, and we were celebrating the 100th episode. So to your point, Gwen, asking ChatGPT, how do I celebrate and sort of promote our new brand and the 100th episode celebration, something that I've never done before. I've not worked with podcasts. This is all brand new. And it gives you the framework. It doesn't do the job for you. You have to go in and edit and make it applicable to your specific podcast, to your specific industry, all the rest of it. And again, I could have put more information in, but it just spat out in the matter of seconds a framework. I was like, this is amazing. And I go back to the, I'm older than everyone here, the eat the frog concept. We all have things in our jobs that we don't really like. That's just the nature of every job. I don't know anyone that says, I love everything about my job from the minute I get into the office till I leave. And, it's like that, eat the frog, get the thing done that on your desk that you just need to do. Just do it first. And this has given me that kind of motivation to, okay, what would ChatGPT say, or AI say about this task? And you can suddenly, the thing that you didn't like doing, suddenly it might be the thing you actually enjoy now because you can approach it differently. So I think it's amazing. My mind is blown. And I think my next sort of question to both of you, if you will, is we work with a lot of students and grads, and I know that some of the complaints that I hear anyways, is it cheating? Am I doing something that I shouldn't be? Or even from a supervisor perspective, is my employee just using AI now and not using their brain? So again, I think that's a really important area to just focus on again. And Gwen, what would you say to that from your perspective as a manager, but also someone that uses AI?
Well, absolutely. And you know what? It could be cheating. So I have a 14-year-old daughter, and if she writes an essay with ChatGPT and hands it in, she's going to be in a whole lot of trouble because that's plagiarism. So within the academic world, yes, it is. And if I'm writing a research paper and I'm copying someone else's work, that is plagiarism. We have to be very mindful for that. That's not the point of this. The point of this is a tool. It is to use us so we can use our brain power in other ways. So if I have employees using it, they will be using their brain another way. They have to harness it. I think writing a letter with ChatGPT, it can save our brain power for other things, which then I think is very exciting.
Dyson?
Yeah, I mean, and I haven't really announced what my background's in communication, right? Specifically for writing, writing, podcast stuff, video, all the great things that I should now be terrified of AI and ChatGPT. But the reality is, I started off, and to your point, if we're gonna be using these kind of slogans and stuff like that. When it comes to when I first started off with writing, I obviously read Stephen King's On Writing, which is a fantastic book. I recommend for anybody just on how to communicate on a basic level. It's fantastic. But he goes about this concept and on how to be a good writer. And he says, you're not writing Shakespeare, you are doing a job. And when it comes to getting the job done, sweep the damn floor, right? So he always said, sweep the damn floor. So I, started off my career fretting over every single word and getting all these things done. And whenever these roadblocks came, I would try and, I'd get writer's block or something. I would try my best, just try and wordsmith this beautiful prose, and it's marketing. So I got into the habit of getting over that and trying to just continue with that writing pace and getting that information out. And with ChatGPT, it's fantastic because, for example, I could be writing out something and get stuck going. For whatever reason, sometimes your brain just short circuits and you're having trouble with a sentence, and it's just super awkward how you've written it. And then you can go to ChatGPT and say, how can I make this better? And it will give you suggestions like maybe rephrase this sentence. And being able to do that gets me back on the horse, gets me doing things again, and it stops me from those unnecessary blocks that'll eat up a lot of my day, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, when you can just simply say I'm stuck on this, please just give me a normal sentence out of this. And that's not to say to copy and paste, right? That's very different. You'll be writing most of this, but you will be going to it saying, I really box myself in here. What do I do? And it'll give you something and you can continue, right? It's the same with, you know, I recently came across something that was, for example, with podcasting and with audio work, and every aspect of audio is now like being integrated with AI. And it's not this big existential threat as much as it right now is going to be something along the lines of, you're going to have to get comfortable understanding how these tools are working and how to actually use them to do your job, to sweep that floor, right? Don't fret about, you know, is this going to be, you know, replacing me? Worry about achieving what you want to achieve and using the tools accessible to you to do that, right? So I mean, that's my whole like philosophy on this thing. I know that there's also a lot bigger of a conversation to be had about AI in terms of plagiarism, in terms of ethics of it, and I think that that's also something to keep in mind and being responsible with it. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's you who's using that tool, so you know, sweep that floor.
Well, and to your point, I think if you're not willing to adopt it, you will get left behind, because guess what? The rest of the world is. So, you know, I think that's the bottom line. And Gwen, when you were talking about SOPs and writing training training programs and things like that, the food industry is so multicultural. It really does attract people from everywhere in the world, you know, and so I think it's really cool that that's a priority for Embassy, to make sure you're speaking to your employees and you can connect with them and meet them where they are. You know, I think that's because so many organizations don't worry about that piece.
Well, exactly. And it comes down to people, right? The food industry and food safety, it's all about people. And you know what? That SOP I created, with one click of a button, I can translate it to any language now. Wow. Like, that is so amazing. And so because I've now just improved communication. And a lot of the time it is communication. If we can improve that, that's a win. And AI is helping us do that.
I will end it there. I want to be respectful of your time. I know you're incredibly busy, Gwen, and we really appreciate you taking the time to do this. This will be shared amongst our different channels. And if you have questions, anyone that's listening to this after the fact, please do reach out. We're happy to answer. I know I could probably bug Gwen and get more information if necessary. And thank you for joining us, Dyson. Your debut in our mentorship session. You're usually behind the scenes there.
I couldn't help it for this topic. I love it. So
yeah, I think we could do another 3 on this and just you know, focus on different areas. You know,
so many areas you can look at. How AI can help people better understand information, how it can help them better do their job, where it's going. Everything's like, there's so much to talk about.
We have just skimmed the surface.
This is a great start. And again, thank you so much, both of you, for joining. And we'll see you again next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.